So what inspired you specifically this time for such a large donation for the football program?
You know, when Matt first came to town, one of the things I asked him is, what can I do for you? And pretty much consistently over his 3 years here, he's been, we need a new practice facility. So, that's been the thought for quite some time, is that's really the missing piece. Obviously, we want to still do the south end zone, which is really the last remaining project here for the whole master plan. But at this time we need the practice facility and to upgrade the facility we have here. So we had the ability to do it, and obviously there's a lot of other people that are going to play significant roles in getting this to the finish line.
The basketball facility has been nicknamed the Womble is short. What are we going to be calling for the nickname for the football facility?
I guess it's a little bit like you don't get to pick your grandparent name either. The grandparents sort of figure out what that was. Chris Beard sort of stuck Womble on that one and called it. I was sort of campaigning for the Womble training facility. My kids put the initials together and said, I don't know about that. And so we'll see where it ends up.
When did Kirby start to first approach you about being the title donation on this?
Before we finished the basketball facility, we knew we needed to. This was another project on the roadmap. So Kirby and I have been talking about this project along with Andrea, Tyree, and the coaches for probably 3 to 5 years, probably.
I know it's been in the works for a while, like you just mentioned, but Kirby was mentioning out there, just wanted to stay on the national map and how Texas Tech is. How much of that is the importance of the timing with the possible conference realignment and everything that's happened over the last few months?
There's always flux in the world. I mean, there's a lot of things always going on. Now it's sort of compounded with NIL. You've got conference realignment, and then you just got a real changing landscape. So hopefully this sort of solidifies our fan base and understanding that we're here to stay. We're going to be a national player, and hopefully that's an ancillary benefit of doing the project.
For you personally, what does this mean to make another contribution to a university that's been that special to you?
Well, it's a great opportunity for us to find a project that makes a difference. We to this point, nearly everything we've done has been on the athletic side. My wife is dedicated to doing some things on the academic side as well. But in both cases, it was a project that was in front of us that we felt like we were tied to, that could make a difference, and so it was a little bit of the right project at the right time for us to get involved with.
Hey, Dustin, where did you come to Tech from?
So I grew up in Amarillo. Yeah, so I went to Amarillo, Tascosa, and attended games here. The earliest game I really remember was an Arkansas game, I think in '65, and sat on the grass end zone, caught one of the Southwestern Public Service red, hard little footballs that they threw out then, and so I've been coming to games here a long time. But when I came out of high school, I had an opportunity. I had a scholarship to go to Rice and a small one to come to Tech, and never visited any other school. I just always thought that was where I was going to go to school, and that's where my dad had gone to school, and so that's how I ended up here.
Academic scholarship or athletic scholarship?
Academic, yeah, not athletic. Yeah, I couldn't get an athletic scholarship in my high school, yeah, much less at college, yeah.
So you graduated from Tascosa what year?
77, yeah, graduated in 77, and then graduated Tech in 81.
And what besides going to football games, what kind of organizations and stuff were you involved in?
I started my business when I was a junior at Tech, and so Leisha and I got married the August before our senior year, and then we had our first child in August the following year. So I sort of did things I would never let my kids do. Started a business, got married before I ever got out of college, and so I wasn't a saddle tramp. I wasn't in a fraternity. I went to school and worked when I was going to school. So I had a job my entire time here, and as I said, I started my software business in my junior year here. So.
How involved will you be in the planning for what goes inside here, and why is it important to have those other amenities, like they were mentioning, a nationally known facility here?
You know, I know that I'll be very involved in this project. I was somewhat involved on the basketball facility. I'll probably be more involved in this project. I learned a lot from the project that we did for basketball. I think we'll probably run this project differently than we did the basketball project. So there'll be a little more opportunity for me to be involved here. And, you know, we want the facility to be everything it can be. If people look at what Georgia spent on their facility, but that included their indoor, I believe. And so if you look at all the facilities we're building and what the money we're spending on them, these will be among the finest facilities in the country. And we're fortunate that they're all on campus. They're all right here together, which is fairly unique. And we'll be able to leverage a lot of things. It'll be a great situation once we get done. We'll have the two grass practice, the practice fields right here. We have the indoor right here. We have the stadium right here. And we're on campus, so that's really a unique situation.
As much as the goal is to help student athletes get them here and whatnot, how much of it, as well as just to catch the eye of national people, whether they're recruits or just the national public in general?
I don't know that we necessarily care about the national media's perception of us. Texas Tech will always be a developmental school. I mean, if you look at our success in men's basketball, it was not because we brought in a bunch of five-star recruits. It's because we brought in kids that had either been overlooked or willing to do the work necessary to become great. And I think, without a doubt, Coach Adams is carrying that tradition there. You look at Coach Tadlock's success and Coach Kitley's success. They're not going after winning. They're not doing it by having the #1 recruiting class in the country. They're recruiting the right kids that are willing to come in, willing to take coaching, that want to work, that want to be good teammates. And so facilities are going to play an important. This is not just a recruiting tool. This is a development tool. When they get here, when they show up their freshman year, when they're a fifth-year offensive lineman, if you go back and look at 2008, it was primarily, we had a lot of really skilled, talented skill positions, but we also had a very dominant line that year. And and those don't show up on campus year one. Those are fourth and fifth year kids that have been here, that have learned the system, that have put the work in and developed. So, okay.
Dusty, how long after Matt first came here did you first have conversations with him about what you could do?
I don't know, Matt. When new coaches show up on any new job, for several weeks they're trying to just get a lay of the land and figure out what they've got. When Matt got here, he was in the middle of recruiting. He was trying to put a staff together, learn all the players. So it was probably within the first 6 months, but it wasn't in the first 6 days. So, yeah. And we're while the facility we have here is not what we want it to be, it is not an embarrassment. I mean, it is, we've spent a lot of money on this facility. It's less than 20 years old. And so it is not something that we cannot live with. It is just something that we want to make better.
So another big donation for another practice facility that you've gotten taken care of. How much effort did you put into this one after the basketball one was done?
Well, this is a project that's been talked about for a couple of years. It's been something that's been on our agenda, working towards, and it fits into the vision of what it takes to succeed and be successful at this level. And we've seen this blueprint before. The investment that is made into a program and the success that will follow it. And it's not that easy, but it's a critical part of building a program. It's important in today's intercollegiate athletics world, and everyone knows football is the economic engine that drives an athletics department, and this is a tremendous launch for us forward as a investment into our football program with many additional investments to come. But that will be our primary focus in the years ahead of us, is building this Texas Tech football program to be the absolute best that it can be, and making sure that it's got every investment that it needs to be successful into the future.
You guys have operated in the past where shovels don't go in the ground until all the money has been raised. Is this donation putting you across the top, or does this start you down the track?
Well, it launches us very far down the track, and I'm very optimistic that the fundraising success that we need to achieve, that we'll accomplish that by the end of this calendar year, and this project will begin early 2022. We're going to go ahead and begin our planning and our design as we work to finish the fundraising efforts. But I'm extremely confident that we will be there by the end of this calendar year.
So how much do you still need?
We're approximately, $28 to $30 million raised, identified towards this $40 to $50 million project, with a lot of interest in this project, a lot of conversations that continue daily about the investment into Texas Tech football.
Kirby, not that it was a trial run, but how much is taken from the basketball facility and just how everything was worked there to make it either streamlined or just to help build the football facility?
Yeah, you learn a lot. You learn a lot of lessons through each project that you do, and as we walk through the Womble Basketball Center now, I'm not sure that we would change a single thing. It is the gold standard in athletic facilities for basketball practice facilities in this country, and we learned some lessons through it, things I think that can help us be more efficient throughout this process and with this project. So you learn things, you continue to grow and identify efficiencies, and it was no different with the basketball project that will help us with this one.
You mentioned out there Texas Tech being here to stay, being on the national landscape, saying things along those lines. I know this has been in the plans for a while, but how important is the significance even more now with just everything that's happened the last few months with conference realignment and just the uncertain nature of college athletics in general?
Well, college athletics continues to change each and every day, and there's no doubt that football is the driving factor in every decision that's made, and that's been the case for as long back as you can remember. So things are changing, but some things will stay the same, and that is the importance of football's role into how an athletic department, how a university is viewed across the country, and as decisions are made, the success of your football program is important.
And kind of a random question, but you mentioned wanting to start in early 22, finishing before the season in 23. During that time, what are the plans for the team as far as where they'll be physically without a building here for that year and a half or so?
Yeah, we're currently talking through options on that. Obviously, the south end zone might provide an option in the short term. You always have the option of bringing in portable office space that we could identify a location for, probably out close to the practice fields area. We're also talking to other entities on campus that are in this near proximity about a possible partnership that could create some office space. You can always look to the East Side Stadium building for office space. So we have a number of opportunities there that we're just thinking through at this time.
Kirby, I know for the basketball facility, you guys went around the country to kind of look at things. What were some of the programs you looked at in terms of what you want to add to this facility?
Yeah, we've traveled and looked at a handful of facilities in the last few years. We've seen obviously all the ones that are in the Big 12 Conference, but we've been to the University of Alabama, we've been to Georgia, we've been to Clemson, we've been to Texas A&M, and had an opportunity to walk through their facilities and look at those. We obviously went through the University of Texas last weekend, or 2 weekends ago when we were in Austin. So we continue to identify the best in category, the best in space, what's been done lately, and again, come back with a strategy. What does Texas Tech football need? What is going to help this program be successful as we look towards the future?
What are the key, I think you kind of alluded to them out there, but what are kind of the key components of the new building and the things that you think will be most important, the most important elements?
Yeah, every element will be important with this facility as we we demo this facility and build new, so we'll have an opportunity to think through, every square foot that is used in this facility from, team development space, and that's where you start, right, is the space that's going to impact your team each and every day. So you talk about sports medicine, you talk about strength and conditioning, you talk about nutrition, you talk about locker rooms, you talk about team meeting space, individual meeting space, and then you'll have your other, Jeff, other functions with your coaching and support space. And then, you think about recruiting and, what elements can you integrate into this facility that's going to have a positive impact on recruiting. And we have a couple of ideas there, but the most important is how is it going to touch and impact the young men that are in this program each and every day and make them the very best student athlete football player that they can be during their 4 or 5 years at Texas Tech.
And you noted that would roughly double the square footage. Can you put numbers to that?
Right now, I believe this facility is approximately 55,000 square feet, and the new project will take it, right above 100,000 square feet.
You had mentioned it briefly about the baseball facility breaking ground in January. Do you know what the timeline is on that, or what the fundraising is for that?
Yep, it's a $13 million project. We have successfully achieved our fundraising goal for that project. The Board of Regents will be, we are seeking Board of Regent final approval in October, with construction set to begin in January of 2022, and it's approximately a 16-month project. So obviously there's a lot of factors in there, but we are hopeful that construction can begin in January.
With this project taking place in 2022 and 2023, does that set the stage for the final push for the South End Zone project?
It absolutely does. And, what I would like to say is today launches an investment into Texas Tech football that will be greater than anything that we've seen. It'll obviously include the football training facility building that we're standing in here today that will be the brand new Womble Football Center. And then I hope in conjunction with this project that we will finalize a South End Zone project. And that will be able to come very quickly after this project is completed, if not some overlap there. We're talking about that timeline as we currently speak. We're talking about the fundraising initiatives that go along with that South End Zone. So you can believe that that South End Zone discussion is already taking place and is in the works.
And with that, after that, would there be any discussion on what would happen to the place where the former Coliseum, which had been torn down?
There's been some ideas over the year, but we really like the way it's being utilized now with, it's become our student tailgate area. The student interest and attendance in that space has grown tremendously. You may have seen the energy that was out there with Waka Flocka. Last home game, I think, led by Robert Giovanetti, our external team has done a great job in bringing students on campus to tailgate. I think we've got something that could be very special there. So, President Skuvanek may tell me tomorrow that a building's going to be built there, but right now I like the energy and the atmosphere that it's brought our student body close to Jones AT&T Stadium for football games, and I think we're on to something that could really evolve into a tradition here with that space. So hopefully we can keep it as the green space right now and continue to build student tailgating there around our football games.
Time for about 2 more. It wasn't mentioned this new building and the sports performance center will be connected.
Yes, we're going to find a way to connect it for efficiencies and ease for our student athletes. You know, many times you'll go from the strength and conditioning center into the indoor if it's for off-season workouts or cardio workouts in conjunction with your strength lift that day. So we're going to find some efficient connectivity that will adjoin those two facilities. What that looks like, we're not certain yet, but we are going to find a way to connect the two buildings at that point in time. This will become one of the largest square footage football development and training facilities in the country.
Is the design going to be populous?
Gensler is our architect partner on this facility right now, and will continue to be as we plan the Womble Football Center.